going there to play to win, not to say we're going to play to lose. We need to win, and that's the message I'm giving to my boys. Let's go out there and win.
Winning has always been at the center of Callisto Pasuwa's life. As a player, Pasuwa won numerous accolades, and after hanging his boots, winning accolades as a coach would be what would separate him from his peers. After spending his early coaching career as an assistant coach, Pasuwa stepped out of the shadows and took the challenge of becoming Dynamo's head coach at a time the Glamour Boys were struggling to stamp the sort of authority the club had become accustomed to over the years. In his first season in charge, success was imminent for Pasuwa, who guided the Glamour Boys to glory in the 2011 season.
We had so many coaches who had coached Dynamos without getting as much success as what Callisto got, and I strongly believe that as the years passed by, the culture was slowly being lost, obviously because of the type of players who were coming into the system, and Callisto had to instill the discipline which was needed at Dynamos, the mental toughness into players, which was a culture at Dynamos, and that really brought everyone into line, and it also brought everyone to start believing that the players, the staff that you are putting on a Dynamo's jersey, or you are representing the club, you have to do what the club is required to do.
With fans elated by the club's return to glory, winning would become a habit, with Callisto Pasuwa guiding the Glamour Boys to 4 consecutive titles from 2011 to 2014, a feat that no other coach has ever achieved in the history of Zimbabwean football.
That was a milestone that was achieved by Callisto Pasuwa. The unfortunate part in Zimbabwe, it's very rare for us to celebrate our own. He has done quite well, and no one has done that before. And I think it shows a lot of character, a lot of hard work from Callisto Pasuwa that is put in the game, both as a coach and as a player.
I think I describe Callisto Pasuwa as one of the greatest coaches ever produced in Zimbabwe, because he's the guy who have done miracles here. You know, there's no any other coach who have won 4 consecutive champions besides him. So he's the best, especially to my own opinion, he's the best.
It was maybe a good 4 solid years. We did very well. He's a good coach. We learned a lot of things from him, and it wasn't easy maybe to achieve what we achieved 2011, 2013, 14. It wasn't easy. It was always teamwork.
To me, it changed my career from Kiglon, just as a Martin, to Dynamos, became to be a Chimdudu and all those sort of things. And I think it changed everything from an unknown player to someone who became known. Maybe it was because of Dynamos, I don't really know, but he also played a big role in my career.
It was your story. When you win 4 and people still cannot give you the respect that you deserve, you see, it's one of those things. But we see there are 3 sides to a coin anyway: the head, tail, and the right one. So it's always difficult to get yourself on board to go along with everybody, because you are entitled to your own opinion. And so that's my opinion about him. I think he's a great coach.
I went to Dynamos in 2014, and that was the very last year they won the league. But I believe what we did that year was the same thing they were doing the previous years. Because in the end, we succeeded in what we wanted to achieve. I think Mr. Pasuwa had his own secrets, some of which I think he was a good player motivator, and every player could play on merit. I think that was his biggest attributes to his success.
When he won his first championship title in 2011, not many expected Manabun to have a stranglehold on the domestic premiership for so long, with one of Pasuwa's captains, Mrape outlining the hunger for success as being a key attribute to Dimbare's dominance.
When he won the first league title, we won the first league title, we always remained humble, and he remained humble. He remained hungry for more success, and he did not bask in the glory of winning that I have won this championship, so everything is going to come on a silver platter. I think the more we won, the more he increased his workload in terms of working, and we also know that Callisto is someone who prays a lot. He goes to church, and even the work ethic, we saw the improvement from the days that he came. There was more and more in terms of what he demanded from us. In 2011 he was demanding, say, maybe 50 or 60. 2012 it was 70. 2013 it was maybe 80. 2014 it was 100. So I think it kept on increasing, and it also kept pushing even the players within the team. There was no day that we could relax on our laurels. We would make sure that everyone is pushing, and you would know that if you don't work hard at training, you're not going to play.
If I can give you an equivalent of climatology, in climatology they say the higher you go, the cooler it becomes. But in soccer, the higher you go, the harder it becomes. Post 2011, you win. Obviously, teams will then start you and say 2012 will take it, but 2012 you take it again. Teams will continue studying you 2013, 2014. So in terms of preparation, having the necessary and applicable tactics for 4 consecutive seasons and staying at the top of the game for 4 consecutive seasons, it out of this world.
With a history of being part of championship winning sides as a player, former teammate Harlington Shereni believes the culture of winning accolades as a player has had a huge role to play in Pasuwa's coaching career.
As a player, he won a lot of trophies. He won championships with Dynamos, and it also something that I think that was rubbing off to his players, or that is rubbing off to his players. And you know, it's always when you have got this joy of winning things, and when you lose, it's like somebody's punched you or something. You know, you want to win the next game.
Of the 4 league crowns won during Pasuwa's reign, 2 of the titles were decided on goal difference, a feat which brings to light Pasuwa's never say die attitude.
Always had a belief that anything can happen in football. You know, it can turn around any minute or any second or even each other time. You can win a game.
We lost to ZPC 2-1 at National Sports Stadium. To everyone, it was game done. It was over. Because no one thought the ZPC was going to lose to Capes. Because that time Capes wasn't playing very well. But I remember what he said when we were coming out of the dressing room. He said, guys, if you go and push this last head, I tell you, anything can happen in football. We are winners, and the winning mentality and the winning DNA is in Dynamos. So if you just believe you're going to do it, you will be surprised. But I'm happy we as guys, we as players, we took that. Even if some thought it was craziness, because at that time it's possible. One could say, this guy is crazy. But we took it as a positive mentality, and we took it to our games. And then we won the last game, and it worked to our advantage.
The ability to instill discipline among players is the hallmark of any good coach. At the epitome of Callisto Pasuwa's success as a coach is an innate ability to ensure players conform to his demands.
If you don't work hard at training, you're not going to play. And he was no nonsense. He would even threaten to beat you up at training. And he would even come to your house and maybe tell you in front of your parents or beat your wife that if you continue misbehaving and trying to jeopardize the good job that we are doing as a team, I'll take it upon myself to discipline you.
He didn't accept any form of nonsense from players, so it wasn't really fear from players, but it was sort of some sort of respect that we could give to him because of the way he treats us.
When it comes to work, he was very strict, you know, so he used to talk to us and installing winning mentality into us. That's why you see us won those 4 trophies in 4 years.
He developed into a coach, a very mature coach who was firm in everything, I should say. Firm with the players, firm with even his technical team. You know, you'd not mess around when Callisto Pasuwa was there. You know, he was a serious guy, a very thorough coach. And everything he did when we worked together was quite serious and thorough.
He was the master of installing discipline once it was out of hand, and it helped a lot. If you focus at that team, it was comprised of most senior guys, and usually they're difficult to contain. But he was good at that, and they listened to the coach, and they did what he wanted.
While maintaining a grip over his players has always been a key strength that has played a major role in his success story. Taking his relationship with players beyond the training ground helped create a bond with players.
You can think outside the box, outside football. You just come and say, Tandazan, what's this? Divon, what's this? Chido, what's this? What's happening in your life? So that he gets to know why you are performing, why you are underperforming. You just come to your house and say, I'm just here today, we are having dinner, we're having what. So I think that was one thing that he was instilling, and also he was bringing some confidence back into the players.
He would look for you and ask what you are doing. He would ask how your family is and if they are happy. He had so much interest in our personal lives.
After my father passed on, I went to Mount Darwin with my family, my mother included. Then we had a breakdown in Bindura, and I called him from that side. He had to drive all the way from Harare, and he helped us to pull the car from all the way from Bindura right up here to Harare. So that was the kind of coach he was to us.
As a coach, you need to also to understand the players, and I think he has got that thing that he can relate with players, and his relationship with players, I think, is also good. He managed them well, and I'm not surprised with the result that he's getting, because he has gone through the ranks, he has worked for it, and now the results are coming, and shows that probably of all the players is one of the few that were meant to be a successful coach.
During his tenure as Dynamo's head coach, several players attracted interest from clubs beyond the country's borders. Despite often losing some of his top players, an eye for talent helped Pasuwa identify young players that often blended in well at the Glamour Boys.
It was easy for him to continue to build the team. If you understand, we lost so many players because of what he had done, the way he had developed players. The club became a hub for foreign teams. We had so many players who were bought by foreign teams, or because of his work, or because of what he had brought to the club. So he built a very strong foundation when he arrived, but not just building a strong foundation. He went on to to continue to develop the team, as it were, and it was no surprise that he went on to win 4 titles in a row.
A background of having been a former player made life easy for Pasuwa, who could easily relate to some of the challenges that they may have faced, thus making his relationship with players one of harmony.
That's kind of a person who was a manager per se. You know, you could manage the group, you could manage each and every individual, because you know how these players, we are all different, with different mindset and with different characters. So he was able to kind of like bring together all those kind of people together. Myself, I was a senior guy in the team. I think I was the oldest in the group, and he managed to bring him to core so that everybody would know exactly what to focus on.
While various key qualities have been pinpointed by those that have dealt with Pasuwa, almost all interviewees single out hard work as perhaps the most significant of traits that make Pasuwa a successful coach.
It comes back to hard work. He was somebody who was always working hard, even in training. He's somebody who didn't want to lose also. So I think it comes back to hard working, and I'm happy for him that the achievement of all the achievements that he's making now is because of hard work.
You just have to work. He's that guy who thrives more on hard work and teamwork.
Despite boasting of a record of 4 league titles, Pasuwa is renowned for a humble character.
He's not that kind of a person whereby you will see him talking about his accolades, whatever he has done, but he's just a humble guy who when you meet, probably you may think maybe, well, is he the guy who has won all that he has done? Because I think that's something that took him to the stages that he has been. You know, he learns from people. He also is a humble guy who also can be able to learn from everybody.
He's just someone who's very humble, who is down to earth.
Conquering in the domestic premiership for 4 consecutive years placed Callisto Pasuwa alongside some of the greatest coaches ever produced by Zimbabwe, but a dark cloud hung over his credentials on the African safari.
Pasuwa, faced a number of doubting Thomases, especially people who looked at his 4 titles that he won with Dynamos. They were saying, well, this is only a domestic victory, and they wanted something on the continent.
Despite uncertainty over whether Pasuwa could become a success on a bigger stage outside club football, the Zimbabwe Football Association placed its faith in the 4-time PSL winning coach, who was handed the position of Warriors head coach. As the Warriors embarked on 2017 AFCON qualifying fixtures, it was a comic build-up to Pasuwa's first game in charge of the Warriors, who missed their flight to Malawi following a player strike. With no other alternative flights, the team had to travel by bus. Despite bookmakers giving Zimbabwe no chance of gaining a favorable result in Malawi, the Warriors conquered, with Katbet Malajila and Kama Billiard scoring crucial goals in a 2-1 victory.
That certainly underlines the way that Pasuwa is as a motivator. We've always flown to our destinations, and things were so tough that he motivated the players, telling them to play for their country, forget about personal glory, and the players responded. And I don't think you can ask for a better person than that. because any other coach, given those circumstances, there is no way that they would have achieved the results that Pasuwa achieved.
Following the trip to Malawi, Zimbabwe would be held by Guinea at home before traveling to Swaziland, where the Warriors played out another 1-1 draw. The reverse fixture, however, gave Zimbabwe a commanding position, with the Warriors hammering Swaziland 4-0 at home. A 3-0 victory over Malawi would then follow, as Callisto Pasuwa became only the third coach to guide Zimbabwe to AFCON qualification.
That's the top tournament in African football, so it's a great achievement. That's a great exploit from the coach for us, for him to take us to qualification of the Africa Cup of Nations. So it's always going to be a big cap on his head for leading Zimbabwe to the AFCON. You know, the third time since independence, and you know, we always dream of going there. So well done to the coach.
Being the third coach who took Zimbabwe to the AFCON, it enriched his CV. And you got that type of exposure which you got. It's a great experience.
With Zimbabwe having gone for over a decade without qualifying, the country's anxiety had been ended.
It was a big starvation, not only for the fans, but even for the journalists ourselves. You know, when the nation started to qualify for bigger tournaments like your African Cup of Nations and the World Cup, of course we are yet to qualify for the World Cup, it does change the characterization of everything. The fans had become used to watching Zimbabwe at the African Cup of Nations after every 2 years. Remember 2004, 2006. It was so much like a celebration of some sort, but all of a sudden it had dried down until Callisto Pasuwa came through. So that kind of hunger created the passion.
In Gabon, Zimbabwe were drawn to face Algeria, Senegal and Tunisia in what many regarded as the group of death. Despite the prospect of facing formidable opposition in Gabon, Callisto Pasuwa and captain Willard Katsande were bullish the squad would deliver.
I, as Zimbabwe, remember we were being knocked out of the qualifying rounds. I mean, now we're saying to the guys, let's go and improve from where we last came out when we were playing our last two AFCONs, and hopefully qualifying for the quarter-final. So our main job here is to qualify first so that we can go to the quarter-final.
Guys are focused and they know what's ahead us. How is it to participate in AFCON, and how important is this AFCON, because AFCON comes after a World Cup, is the second after World Cup. So they are much aware of the ingredients of the AFCON. So I think the guys are ready to perform.
Piri, Mahachi, Kuna Mahachi, and the Warriors have equalised. Mahachi starts and finishes the move.
The opening encounter against Algeria was played at lightning speed, with the Warriors capturing the attention of the continent after holding Algeria to a 2-2 draw in a game Zimbabwe could have won. The Warriors would, however, succumb to successive losses in encounters against Senegal and Tunisia, as they ended at the basement of their group. After returning home from Gabon, Callisto Pasuwa would go on a football sabbatical as he reflected on what had been a busy period in the dugout. Towards the end of 2018, Pasuwa returned to the fray after he was led to Malawi by Nyasa Bullets. Despite assuming his duties with a few matches remaining and with Bullets top of the table, Pasuwa brought stability to the dressing room and propelled Nyasa Bullets to glory.
Whoever coined the statement that you cannot keep a good man down, he must have had Callisto Pasuwa in mind, because he went out to Malawi and that team was beginning to wane. Yes, they were the defending champions, but things were beginning to go wrong. And when Pasuwa arrived, he managed to make sure that they maintained focus and they managed to win the league as well. And it just goes to show that when he gets down to business, he's someone who gives his all. He has no time to complain time and again. No, he doesn't. He just gets down to business, gets the players focused, and this, in my view, is how he gets his results.
Although some other people can, they've got an argument saying, no, when he got there, the championship has been already won. No. It hasn't been won. He's the one who went there, he finished the rest for that team, and then they won the league championship.